Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about caudal provisions part 3. So far we have discussed about the caudal provisions related to the bolted connections. Now in this video we'll see about limit state method. Okay, what is meant by limit state method and what are the types of limit states and various terminologies and definitions and factors present in this limit state. Okay. Next is the limit state. Limit state. Okay. So now limit state is an acceptable limit for safety and serviceability before failure occurs. Before failure occurs. As the name indicates, so in this method there exists a limit for two states. What are those two states? Safety and serviceability. Okay, safety and serviceability. Once I read out what is meant by limit state. So limit state is an acceptable limit for safety and serviceability before failure occurs. Is that okay? It means in this limit state we are going to consider both safety and serviceability. But if you see in other two methods, that is working stress method and plastic method, so in working stress method only serviceability is considered, whereas in plastic method only safety or you can say strength is considered. But in this method both are considered. Okay, both are considered. As this method considered both limits, that is safety and serviceability. Therefore this method is based on, it means the limit state method is based on, okay, limit state method LSM is based on probability and statistical concepts. It means both the states, that is safety and serviceability, has taken into the consideration. Therefore using only theoretical concepts is not at all sufficient to carry out the design. Therefore we take the help of mathematical tools, that is probability and statistics. Okay, therefore we take the help of mathematical tools, that is probability and statistics. Therefore this method is based on probability and statistical concepts, okay, along with the theoretical concepts also. But here mainly we are going to use these concepts. That is why here I have written this method is based on probability and statistics. Now let us see the types of limit states. Okay, let us see the types of limit states. As we know, so there exist two types of limit states. What are those? So first one, limit state. Okay, limit state of safety or strength, you can say. Okay, limit state of safety, and another is limit state of strength. Sorry, serviceability. Okay. One is limit state of safety and another is limit state of serviceability, not strength. Here. Now let's see what are the criteria we consider in each limit state. So in limit state of safety, we mainly consider strength. That is strength of the structural steel in yielding and buckling. And in this very same safety itself, we consider other conditions also, or other criteria also. Those are stability against overturn and sway. It means we consider the stability of the structure against overturn and sway. Next, here we consider plastic collapse. Okay. Next, here we consider brittle fracture. And of course, we consider fatigue failure, or you can say fatigue fracture. So all the criteria were considered in this limit state of safety. But if you see in plastic method, only strength and plastic collapse is considered. But rest of the conditions are not considered in the limit state of safety in, or you can say limit state of strength in plastic method. So all the conditions were considered in this limit state method in limit state of safety condition. Okay, or you can say in limit state of safety type. Now coming to the limit state of serviceability, first we consider deflections. Okay, first we consider deflection. Next, we consider vibrations. Next, we consider corrosion. Next, we consider fire resistance. Okay, fire resistance. And of course, we consider fatigue deflections. Okay, of course, we consider fatigue deflections also. So now all these are considered, our criteria comes under the category of limit state of serviceability. Now these are all to be considered in carrying out the design of a structure by limit state. As all these are taken into the account, therefore, as I said earlier, merely making use of theoretical concepts is not sufficient. That is the reason we are making use of probability and statistical concept. So this is about the limit state method in brief. Now let us see some important definitions and useful factors that are going to be used in the design of a limit state method. Are you carrying out the design of a structure by making use of this limit state method? So first you copy this. Okay, first you take it down. We'll see the, as I said, the definitions and required factors. Okay, here we go with the first definition in this limit state method. So see the definition that is written on the board. So characteristic load we represent with PCK. So what is a characteristic load? Characteristic load is that value of the load which has an accepted probability of 95% of not being exceeded during the lifespan of the structure. It means the exact load that is coming onto the structure is not possible. Okay, calculation of, or you can say determination of exact load coming onto the structure is not possible. Therefore, we make use this characteristic load in design, and these are the conditions for the characteristic load. It means 95% cases this characteristic load should be greater than the real load coming onto that structure. Is that okay? This is what the characteristic load, and there exists one more definition, that is characteristic strength. Okay, characteristic strength, or you can say stress. We represent it with FCK. For steel, characteristic stress is Fy, not FCK. For we dedicate this FCK for concrete. Clear, everyone? So for steel, we use Fy as a characteristic stress. Now, what is the definition? It is that value of stress below which not more than 5% of test results. Not more than 5% of test results are expected to fail or fall. Okay. The very same definitions we have studied even in RCC also. Is that clear? In limit state design of RCC, already the very same definitions we have studied, but here also they are required. That is the reason I have presented here. Okay. So what is the definition of characteristic strength or stress? It is that value of stress below which not more than 5% test results are expected to fail or fall. It means if you cast, with the example of concrete, I will explain. If you cast 100 cubes for a grade of M30, then out of that 100 cubes, 95 cubes should have the strength more than 30 Newton per mm square. Only 5 cubes are expected to fall below that. Okay, that is what the definition. As I said, the very same definitions you have studied in your RCC also. Okay, now coming back to our discussion. If you see these definitions of both the parameters, that is a characteristic load and a characteristic strength or stress. So the definition itself sounds like a probability and statistics. Yes or no? Here 5% to 95%. Clear? So the definitions itself sounds like a probabilistic and statistical. Is that clear, everyone? Now next we'll see the main safety format in this limit state method. So safety format, and after that we see the design criteria also. So safety format in this limit state method. Safety format. Safety format. So safety format in this limit state method is nothing but using the probable maximum load. Okay, probable maximum load. Probable maximum load. And also using probable minimum strength. So that desired level of consistency is going to maintain. Okay, for getting the safety or to ensure the safety of a structure designed by limit state method, what are the parameters or what are the things we are going to consider here? Probable maximum load and probable minimum strength. By considering these, we can ensure consistent level of safety in that structure designed by limit state method. How the consistency is going to be achieved, let us see. With a small practical example, I'll explain this. So loads are nothing but external factors. Yes or no? Loads are nothing but external factors. Means externally we are applying the loads. So because of this application of load, internally the resistance or strength is going to be developed. Right? Is it clear, everyone? So this is internal. It means external effects we are going to overestimate and internal effects we are going to underestimate. That is what the safety format used in limit state method. As I said, let us discuss this safety format with a small practical example so that you'll understand. Suppose, of course, all of you are preparing for a GATE, right? GATE examination. For civil engineering, or you can say from civil engineering, total 12 subjects will be there. Therefore, this syllabus, or you can say this subject is external load on you. Yes or no? Now, what is the internal strength of you? Your ability to study those subjects. Okay, that is what internal strength, or you can say internal effect. One, what is external effect? The subjects, number of subjects is external load on you, and your ability to read those subjects or study those subjects is internal effect. Now, suppose let us assume that you can study per day some 6 to 8 hours. Let us take 6 hours. Okay, that is your ability. And to get a good rank in GATE, so studying 8 subjects is more than enough. Okay, what are those subjects? That we will discuss later. Why? Because here we are not discussing the strategy. Here mainly we are discussing the safety format of a limit state. So external subjects, or you can say subjects is nothing but external load on you, and your ability to study those subjects is internal. Okay, internal effect. Okay, or your ability. Now, by studying 8 subjects, let us frame one condition here. By studying the 8 subjects, okay, by studying the 8 subjects, and you're having the ability of 6 hours per day, right? So this is your internal ability, and this is your external factor. Okay, external factor. So to get a good rank, okay, to get a good rank in GATE, you need to study 8 subjects. Okay, you need to study 8 subjects, and that to studying 6 hours per day. Yes or no? Now, to crack a GATE, okay, to crack a GATE examination by limit state method, how to design it, okay, how to schedule or how to plan. It means as you are going to study 8 subjects, or if you study 8 subjects, you will get a good rank. Suppose let us take it as 10 subjects. Okay, suppose let us take it as 10 subjects, and your ability is 6 hours per day. Let us consider it as 4 hours per day. Is that clear? It means we are overestimating the external effect and underestimating the internal effect. Now, what is the format here, or what is the design here? You need to study 10 subjects. Okay, you need to get perfect in 10 subjects by studying 4 hours per day. Okay, by studying 4 hours per day. If this is the design condition, or if this is the condition, or if this is the planning, okay, if this is the planning, then for sure at least you study 8 subjects. Okay, at least you study 8 subjects. Then for sure you are going to get a good rank, or you are going to crack a GATE with good rank. Is that clear? So this is what the limit state. So in limit state method, we are going to overestimate the external effects and underestimate the internal effects. So in this way, the safety format is going to be achieved, or you can say consistency in the safety is going to be achieved. That is by overestimating the external effects and underestimating the internal effects. With a small practical example, I have explained. So hope it is clear to you. Is that okay? Now we see the design criteria, design condition. Okay, design condition. Design condition or design criteria. So for design criteria, design actions, or you can say loads, should be less than or equal to design strength. Strength or resistance. Is that okay? So design action or load means external, and design strength or resistance means internal. Is that okay? So for design, for safe design, or you can say design criteria in this limit state method is these externally designed load should be less than or equal to internally developed resistance or strength. Is that okay? Now coming to these loads, so design loads. So design load is nothing but gamma F into PCK. What is meant by PCK? Characteristic load. Okay. Now what is meant by gamma F? Gamma F is nothing but partial load factor. Partial load factor. Now there exists some table. Okay, there exists one table for these partial load factors that are to be used when we are carrying out the design. What is that table? We'll discuss. No worry. Okay, what is the table? We'll explain. I'll explain or we'll discuss. No worry. But this is how to calculate design load. So design load is equal to some factor into characteristic load. Okay. Now that factor is called as a partial load factor. Now coming to the design strength. Okay, coming to the design strength. So strength is nothing but force. Okay, strength or resistance is nothing but force. Now, how the force is calculated? Where force here we calculate force by making use of one simple formula we have studied in the beginning of strength of materials. That is in terms of stress. So, what is the formula for force in terms of stress? That is area into stress. Yes or no? So, formula for force in terms of stress is area into stress. The same formula here also we follow, but as here it is designed, therefore we are not going to use loosely area into stress. Okay, area into stress. We need to consider some factors and some additions to that formula. Okay, what are those? Let us see. So design resistance, or you can say design strength, is equal to area into design stress. Same formula. Okay, same formula for. Okay, see, this is the formula, or you can say this is the format for the strength we keep on using throughout our discussion from now. So what is the formula for the strength? Area into design stress. So very important to be noted here. As I said, this very same formula we keep on using throughout our discussion. So simple formula what we have studied in strength of materials in the beginning. That means the force is equal to area into stress. But as here it is a design subject, so we are not supposed to use that formula loosely. With some factors and with some additions and multiplications and divisions, we need to use that formula. So what is it? Let us see. Now coming to the design stress. Design stress is nothing but some standard value of stress. Okay, some standard value of the stress. If it is a structural steel, we mainly use Fy. If it is a connections, we use Fu. So hence a simpler written standard value of stress, but not yield stress or ultimate tensile stress. So stress upon gamma m. Now this gamma m is nothing but partial factor of safety. Okay, partial factor of safety for material. Okay, partial factor of safety for material. Is that clear, everyone? So now we'll see, as I said previously, for gamma f there exists a table in the code. In the same way for gamma m also there exists a table in the code book. Now we'll see what are those tables corresponding to this gamma f and gamma m. Is that okay, everyone? So these are the design criteria. Okay, this is the design criteria in limit state method, and so far we have discussed about the concepts related, or you can say required things related to the limit state method. As I mentioned in the beginning of this discussion itself, we mainly carry out our discussion or design of the steel structures by making use of limit state method. Hence we confine our discussion to the limit state only. So the introduction to the limit state is completed, but we are left with the tables related to this gamma m and gamma f. So first you take it down, first you copy all this. We'll see the tables. Okay, tables related to partial load factor and partial factor of safety for material. Okay, first you take it down. Okay, now we'll see the table corresponding to the partial load factor. Okay, partial load factor. So here we consider partial load factor in limit state of safety as well as in limit state of serviceability, and these were the various load combinations. So DL plus LL means dead load plus live load. If you consider dead load plus live load, there exists one type of load factors in limit state of safety and serviceability, and again another combination dead load plus live load plus either wind load or earthquake load. It means, see, code assumes that both these wind load and earthquake load will not occur simultaneously. Therefore, either wind load or earthquake load. That is the meaning of it. Next, dead load plus wind load or earthquake load. Okay. In these cases, let us see what are the various load factors in limit state of safety and limit state of serviceability. Now, first, for dead load and live load, the load factor to be considered for dead load is 1.5 and live load is also 1.5. Here, no. And here, 1 and 1. Clear. Next, if we use dead load plus live load plus either wind load or earthquake load, then load factor to be considered for dead load is 1.2 and for live load 1.2 and for wind load or earthquake load is also 1.2. And here it is 1 for dead load, for live load, for dead load 1, for live load 0.8 and for wind load or earthquake load 0.8. Is that clear? Next, if you consider dead load plus wind load, either wind load or either earthquake load, then it is 1.5 again. No, 1.5. Here it is 1 and 1. Is that clear? So the reason for taking 1 for the dead load, live load in case of limit state of serviceability is, as the name indicates, serviceability means whenever the structure is in service. Okay, whenever the structure is in service, we are seeing the factor. So when the structure is in service, it is taking that load right from the beginning. It means for a very long duration, it is taking that load. Therefore, no need to multiply that load with any factor, as that load is acting on that structure for a long time right from the beginning. Therefore, no need to apply loads. Okay, no need to apply partial load factors. But coming to here, why 0.8? The reason for applying 0.8 here is dead load is acting right from the beginning. But coming to the live load and wind load and earthquake load, they are not of long duration in comparison with the dead load. It means the magnitude of dead load may be less in comparison with wind load or earthquake load. But this wind or earthquake load and live load are going to act for very short duration in comparison with the dead load. Is that okay? Here mainly that duration, or you can say that period is important. Means the time is important. Okay. So these were the factors. Okay, these were the load factors corresponding to this limit state of safety and limit state of serviceability. Now let us see partial factor of safety for material. For that also, as I mentioned, some table is there. Okay, there is a table in the IS 800/2007. What is the table? Let us see. Now coming to the material, how many types of materials we are going to use here? 2 types of material. What are those materials? One is structural steel and another is connections. Their connections, right? Hence, there exist 2 types of partial factor of safety for material. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about the tables. Table corresponding to the partial factor of safety for material. So first is for structural steel. Structural steel. So we assume that this structural steel mainly faced by either yielding or buckling. But this failure of this structural steel by rupture or cracking is rare. Okay, it is not a regular failure. It is a rare failure. Therefore, if the failure is governed by, failure is governed by yielding. If the failure is governed by either yielding or buckling, okay, in the design we use yield stress Fy. And partial factor of safety, that is we represent with gamma m0. Okay, partial factor of safety for material steel to be used is 1.1. When we have to use 1.1 and Fy, if the structural steel is failing by either yielding or buckling. Okay, so this is a regular type of failure. But in some cases, that is rare. The failure may be governed by rupture. Rupture, or you can say cracking. Okay, rupture or cracking. In that case, the stress to be used is Fu. Okay, stress to be used is Fu, and partial factor of safety for material to be used is 1.25. But for structural steel, this is only the more common mode of failure. Okay, more common mode of failure. So this is for structural steel. Now let us see for their connections. Okay, now let us see for their connections. So we know mainly 2 types of connections, or we use mainly 2 types of connection. One is bolted, or bolts, or rivets. But as I said, rivets are outdated. Therefore, we always use bolts. And another is weld, right? Now here, there exist 2 types. If that bolting or welding is done in shop, means in workshop, there exists one partial factor of safety. And if it is done in field, there exists another partial factor of safety. It means if those connections are carried out in any industry or workshop, there exists one type of partial factor of safety for material. And if it is done in field, and another type. Okay. So for bolt, we represent that partial factor of safety with gamma MB. And for weld, we represent with gamma MW, the words. Okay. If bolting is done either in the workshop or field, same factor of safety, same partial factor of safety for material, that is 1.25 and 1.25. And stress to be used all the time is Fu. Okay, now coming to the weld. Okay, coming to the weld, if welding is done in the field, then partial factor of safety for material is 1.25, and if it is done in the field, then it is 1.5. It means in field, if you observe, more partial factor of safety is existing for material. It means we are reducing the strength. The reason for reducing the strength is quality control of the weld when it is done in the field is not ensured. Because of that reason, more partial factor of safety for weld material is present if the welding is done in field. Is that okay? Now, here also we most of the time we make use of Fu, but for butt weld we use Fy. So that is also rare case. But most of the time for connections we go with Fu, that is ultimate tensile strength. It means simply to say always structural steel fails by yielding or buckling, but rarely by rupturing or cracking. But coming to the connections, they mainly fail by rupturing or cracking, and in some cases only they fail by, or in rare cases only they fail by yielding or buckling. So whenever the connections are failed by yielding and buckling, then we use Fy. Okay, for structural steel also the same scenario. Is it okay? So with this we have completed the concepts related to the limit state method. Okay, concept related to the limit state method, and by making use of these concepts we can carry out the design. Is that okay? Take it on.